So the number one thing is that writers write. I know that sounds obvious, but there's lots of people out there who say, oh, I'm a writer. Well, what have you written? Well, nothing really. Or when was the last time you wrote? I stopped ages ago. So if you want to be a writer, you've got to write and write and write. If you want to be a good writer, you've got to write even more. So many people, they try writing and they find it's hard. Or they try writing and they find nobody's reading it. Well, good. Write more, and as you write more, you'll get better at it, and there's a greater possibility people will read it. So I was saying this earlier, that a lot of people write those, everyone's got 2 or 3 great article ideas in their head, right? Everybody's got 2 or 3 things. I would love to write about that. So they write those 3 things. Their world hasn't changed. They don't have people coming up to them and asking them for autographs and stuff, and so they just stop. So the average blog, there's 3 articles 3 days in a row, and then there's another article a week later, and then another article a month later, and then it goes dry. Maybe a year later, another article, and that happens all the time. If you want to be a writer, you've got to write. You've got to commit to the writer's life, which is a life of constantly looking for ideas, constantly jotting down ideas, writing them in a journal or tapping them onto your phone or into your computer, and then just working over those ideas again and again until you've got something that's worth writing. So I could pull up my app here where I've got about 30 or 40 different articles that are underway, and some are just a sentence, some are a few paragraphs, but they just haven't gotten there yet where I'm really comfortable with them. So I just leave them, I come back to them, sitting on the plane yesterday, pull them up, another few sentences here, another few sentences there. Also, another key is to know when you're at your best. So most people would get maybe a 2-hour window in their day when the brain is just really, really working well, when you're very, very creative. So if you learn to identify when that time is, then generally you can try, if you can, try and do your writing at that time. So for me, I'm at my best, let's say between 9 and 11 in the morning. That just tends to be when I'm awake, I've had a cup of coffee, my brain is operating well, and so I can do more in those 2 hours than I can do the whole rest of the day if I take hold of that time. What a lot of people do is they kind of wait, they put it off, now it's 10 o'clock at night and they're trying to write, but it's just their brain's tired, they've had a long day, they're weary. So not everybody has the ability to write from 9 to 11, we've all got other responsibilities, but I think a lot comes down to finding that time that really works well for you, and that can vary a little bit. In terms of writing for the common person, the average person, I think it comes down to just spending lots of time with people, people in your church especially, and just asking what are they thinking about? What are their concerns? What's really interesting to them? It's probably not difficult doctrine, but it might be working out that doctrine in real life. It might be showing, here's how this doctrine became really important to me. I'm telling you a story. I'm just working in the truth there, that this is how God works, or this is an attribute of God, or this is what God commands us to do. And so I'm taking story, I'm taking something that's pretty lighthearted, but I'm just inserting some truth into it. I think that generally works better. If you want to learn systematic theology, you don't read a blog, you buy a book, right? But I can still teach systematic theology just by kind of sliding it in there as I go. So if you are interested in people, you're spending time with people, you're really asking, how can I show love to this person? How can I speak to this person? I think you'll find lots of opportunities to write. And then just make sure you would actually read that article. A lot of people write articles for other people, and that's okay. But make sure you would read it, that you wouldn't be bored by it, that you wouldn't be uninterested in it. Just ask, what's interesting to me? And if it's interesting to me, it's probably interesting to other people. And so write that article, that even if I didn't write this, I would still read it. I think it's a good measure.